going to talk about breaks. I did a round one or introduction in the last session we did a week ago for the Midwest. You know, some of that will overlap, and some of it will continue on to more advanced. The break command is an amazingly powerful feature, and it's got so much built into it to make our lives easier. And it's one of those features that's very intuitive. People just don't realize it, the power of it, and what you can do with it. And I'll show you some basic through advanced, but also some other features that you wouldn't think about doing for it as part of that as well. So let me first generate up a report, and let's take a look at the report, and let's look at what can the break do for me? What can I do? If you're familiar with the Analysis Toolbar, which we'll see very shortly, as you know, the Analysis Toolbar should be your #1 friend. It's the most powerful of the ribbons across the top. It's the one you should be spending most of your time in. And it just has a variety of different things that are available to us. So let me generate a brand new one here. And we'll get out here. I'm running 4.2 SP7. 8's mainly a service pack enhancement, so I haven't really upgraded to that. I've been working in 4.3 so much lately, I got to get my brain back to 4.2 here as we go through. And let's see, can I get rid of that window on the right, Anne-Laura, with the display window for me? I want to keep the share there, but I don't want to lose my space over on the right there. So let's get this built real quick. Not all of which I'm going to use, but I'll have it out there just in case I need it. Some HTML features, the ability to click on a folder and have it automatically deposit all the contents into the results objects window is a good one as well. We'll take these out here. A lot of neat little features. And over here on the right, I need to get rid of my window. Minimize that one, and we'll run the query. Again, 4.3, I'm used to going down to the bottom to do a run query. So just kind of highlighting some features for the 4.3 world for those of you down the road when we do finally get to that point. But so let's take a look. Let's get our report built, and let's look at the break, and let's look at some of the enhancements that we can take advantage of to do some pretty cool things. And so we'll take this out here, move it over a little bit. I'm going to start with a report that doesn't have the quarter in there, so we'll drag it up and over and out. I'm in Chrome, so I got to be a little careful how I drag it out. You notice I'm running SP7, so the automatic report with the blue color with the white lettering is now changed. This is the new default template. So a lot of people miss that, but it's not the same anymore. And if I'd worked on an existing report that was created prior that had the color, it would have continued on with it as well. So my report's laid out there, 16 through 19 for the year and the state. But I need to group it together, okay? But not group it in the sense of the group command that is available on the Analysis Toolbar. I've done sessions on that, the Analysis Toolbar, your best friend, okay, where you could group things, but that's a redefinition. I don't want to redefine them. I want to organize them. So think of grouping from an organizational perspective instead. So we're going to take the year column. Remember to separate title from data. There are times when the Analysis Toolbar will get you when you try to do something and it does it in the title area. So what I need to do up here is go up to the break command, and I could just click on it, but we'll click the down arrow, and we're going to add a break. And what it does, it automatically organizes things for me. There's my year 16, puts a break header on the first line, automatically generates a footer, a gap in between, and it moves on from there. Now you notice something that's relatively new, the automatic subtotals. I find it annoying, and I also find it a nice feature to have both ways. By virtue of SP6, I believe was when it was introduced. When you put in a break, it automatically assumes you want the subtotals, but you'll notice it doesn't give you the grand total. I've talked to my good friend Samuel Polachuk in Paris about that one and said, you got to finish it up for us. It makes it a little more difficult. So just in case you're not familiar with that, if I go to the block level, which if I get my four-way arrow and click the block level, it's the old format block in earlier versions, and you go to your format table. We're looking for format table to format the entire block. And you'll see over on the right-hand side, there's a table footer. So if you turn that on, what that will do for you is give you the grand total on the bottom, which you'd not get automatically. Now, if I could get just right on the auto fit here, I could fix that one. It's always a tough one to get. Expand it out a little bit, and lo and behold, there it is. Now, the other thing that often comes up new with this is what if you don't want those subtotals generated automatically? You wanted to control them yourselves. You want to do other things. To turn them off, what you have to do, and this is not very clear for people, but I've got the column highlighted, and what I'm going to do is on the function side, you'll notice the sum is got the coloring to denote that that feature is turned on. Okay, so what I can do is I can go back, and if you want to turn it off, if you set default navigation and uncheck it, it now removes it, and it takes that one out. You got to do these one at a time. have to do the same thing again. So that's if you want to take the default aggregation factor out, you know, and then I can go back in and throw my breaks in on my own and take care of it that way. There's always a price you pay. Notice by doing that, when it did the automatic subtotaling, it did it for all the measures. What's an old problem we've always had for years is if I have 10 measure columns and want them all to be subtotal, prior to the automatic version of it, I would have to go in one column at a time, one object at a time. Not anymore. There's an advantage to having it when you do that. So if I wanted to, I could turn the break back off again. Well, I actually reapplied it again. So we're going to remove the break, remove all breaks, put it back where it was. Because I want to reorganize this. We'll go back to year again. We'll put the break back in. And we can expand a little bit on that as well. Add the break. And now again, I get my automatic subtotals and my grand total's not there, but it is because I turned the table footer on. So that one was not an easy one to find. I'm always looking for the ways to get around some of these things as these features get introduced. Sometimes they don't make them real clear to us, as you can see as well. All right, as many of you know, you already have the manage break feature. Let's take a quick look at that just for a moment here. The manage break should be one of your standard friends when you're working with the break features. You've got the display properties on top, a new feature called value-based break that we'll look at in a minute. Your duplicate values section that many of you are already familiar with. If I want this centered across the break, as many of you know, all I've got to do is go in, take it to a merge, to merge it across or center it across, and it takes care of the problem. Other things that we want to be able to do, start on a new page, automatic page break, avoid page breaks in a block, and repeat the header on every page. Now, once I'm inside the window, I can add and edit and remove without going in and out, and I can do all my break management that way as well. And I didn't do the start on a new page, although this would have been a great candidate for that as well. Again, one of the more advanced things, people oftentimes want to get rid of the footer. They don't want the footer to be in there, okay? So what are they going to do to get rid of the footer? Well, you said, well, to remove the footer, what I could do is, if I go to Manage Breaks, let's pick a column with the break. We'll go into the Manage Break function, okay? And we decide that we're going to remove the break footer. That's a nice thing to do. I don't need the break level footer. I want to get rid of it, take it out, okay? So when I do that, let me get it to come back in. Come on, guys, apply it. Wait for my session to catch up with me. It's lagging a little bit on that one. Wonder if that's just doesn't want to take the footer off. No, it's just my session hanging up for a minute here. I'll give it a minute or two to catch. We'll do an OK on it to remove the footer. Hope I didn't hang out. Just waiting for it to catch up. And what we'll have happen is we'll have the footer disappear from there, which is what we're looking for, with a small little price that we pay for it as well. I don't know what happened here. My session hung up. Come back in here. I apologize. I don't know what's going on here. It's an unusual situation, removing the footer for the year. That one's got me stumped. I want to get rid of it. Get it to come up. Let me try refreshing here. I think the break footer it didn't like. There's something it didn't like with me. I've taken that one off before, so that shouldn't really be an issue. My apologies. I don't know what happened here. This is a freaky thing to have happen. Taking it out and removing it. Canceling it won't do it as well. Oh boy. Something you don't like to see happen when you're working here. With my session here, let's see if I can get it to refresh again. Everybody has run into this. This is a new one on me for that one. Come on, guys, let's kill it.
And someone suggested potentially using the escape button to exit.
Yeah, but it doesn't, I don't usually have any luck, but I'll try it at this point. Yeah, no, I didn't. It's really bizarre. I've not had this happen. So I removed the footer. That was all I did. Now what if I put it back? It doesn't want to let me do that. Try my refresh. I think I got, that's weird. So it's something inside here that it just doesn't like. Huh. My apologies. This is a new one I hadn't seen before for doing that. Hope I'm good there. Good there. Let's see if I can scoot through. Go back here where I was. It's a new one on me. Let's see if that took care of it. Looked like it did, but it didn't.
Someone else suggested using F5.
Which one? I'm not. This is so bizarre.
The key F5 up top to refresh.
The F5 key, yeah. I don't know what it did. I don't know what it did, but it hung it. So, but it did work finally with what I wanted it to do. I'm running VMware image. Sometimes VMware will do an update.
All right, I think we may have lost Michael there. That's probably what was happening. Let's see.
Yep, he looks frozen.
Yeah, I think we lost him. That's probably what was going on with his screen there. The joys of Zoom, yes.
Currently.
Oh, there he is again. Hi, Michael. Looks like we lost you for a bit there.
You did? Huh. My connection's unstable. I've got a really nice clean line for it. So everybody see me now? Uh-oh, sounds like that Verizon commercial. So let me refresh the document.
Yes, you're back.
Yeah, my apologies. Boy, that's weird stuff. So you see what we're able to do. Now, one of the other features that really comes into play is when you bring in multiple dimensions to do multiple break levels, which is the way we like to do things. That's a more advanced feature. Let me show you a couple little tricks for it. So we'll get rid of the break. I didn't have to, but I did it anyways. We'll bring quarter into the mix. Okay, let's stick the quarter in here next to the year. And what I want to do now is a double break. Typically, when we build documents, the way we've always done it historically over the years is we go left to right. We break left to right because we want our data organized going left to right. So I'll break on year first. Okay, we'll apply a break. We'll add the break since it's, we'll add a break for the year when it decides to catch up with me on it. It's bizarre. You have to figure out what why that's happening for that one. So cancel that out. We'll just add the break in there. Oops, I didn't. Oh, did I lose it all? Yes, I did. Let's see if it's still out there. It did. Certainly did not cooperate with me today. I don't have the report up there. Well, I'll generate real quick. It's easy enough to do. Maybe that'll solve it. We can apply the breaks very quickly. And I want to show you how to handle multiple breaks and how do you control the footers and headers, which is very important. Then I'm going to show you how you can do things based on the break subtotal values. Thanks to someone out there who asked that question in one of my earlier sessions. So we've got year and we've got quarter and we got state. And we'll put all the measures in there -2 that we'll take out. And I'll just drag it out. I like to drag and drop instead. We'll regenerate it in a matter of just a few seconds. We'll rerun our query. And what we'll do is we'll put a double break in there at 2 levels. And you'll see the obvious problem that you run into when you go through and do it this way. So we'll move this report over. And we'll take the year and we'll go up to our now very important tab called Analysis tab. And we'll apply a break there. And then we'll go to the quarter level and we'll do a break there. Okay. And I get a double level break, as you can see. And that's very, very common for us to do. And I can center across the break. One of the neat little tricks I like to show people, advanced feature with when you have multiple breaks, is if you do a merge on the higher level one, watch what it does. And this is important, okay? This is important. We merge it. Again, more little advanced little tricks and things. And I could do a page break, but we want to see it all at once. It's up there. So what it did was it put the 2016 in there as centered within each secondary break. And that is really cool. And of course, I could center the quarter if I wanted to as well. Here's the big problem, though. Look how ugly it is. I've got year and quarter repeat. Every time there's another quarter, I get the entire header block repeated all the way through. I don't want that. What I want is just the lower quarter level one without the year. So there's a way you can handle that. You can change some of the settings that were auto-generated, and it's this easy to do. And there's a handout that I will give you on breaks that will show you all these little tricks. So what you want to do is, let's start with the year. Okay, we want to put the year header back on, and then we want to go to the quarter. And for the quarter, we want to take the header off and leave the footer in there. We're going to kind of reverse it, and we'll do it this way. And now look what it does for us. Okay, so it's got the year centered across the break. It's a big one in there, with the quarters underneath it, as you see right in here. That might be a case where I don't want the year to be centered across the break, but in either case, and there's my quarter break, quarter one, and then quarter two follows that, and so on. And if I wanted to, I could go in and use formatting where I could take each of the footer levels, each of these. Maybe I want to go all the way across because it's the break level, and we want to display it. We could go in for formatting, and we could put in some nice color for this one. Maybe I want to make the background color real light color like this, so the subtotals stand out in there, and you can see what each one of the subtotals are. I don't like the year being merged across the bigger break because of it being multiple. So let's take that one off just real quick. As we learn, as we build, we go, no, that's not what I want. So we'll go back to the manage breaks. And for the year, instead of merging, we'll do a first on it to fix that little issue up, which displays first. And then we're back where we wanted to be with that one as well. So it puts the year out here, and then I did it for the quarter at the break level, so for each quarter, and I can control how they are done. We'll get into an example in a couple minutes about trying to sort the report based on one of the lower level breaks. We'll show you what that one's like in a minute as well. The other one that's very popular now is value-based break. Okay, and let me show you a different way where it makes more sense. Let's add a second report tab in here real quick. Instead of duplicating it, I'll just do an add. Take advantage of all the wonderful features. This time we want to have state and year and sales revenue and quantity sold. Drag them all out, drop them into place. Okay, and what we want to do here is for state, we want to do a break. Okay, base it on state values. So I put the break in there, but what I want to do is this. I want to do it as under the manage breaks feature, I want to do it based on a value. You said, what do you mean? This comes up all the time. If you look at our data, look at each state. California's got 9 million for a subtotal. Colorado is a small amount, what, 2.5, 3.6, 2.5 as you look down the line. And when you get near the bottom, Texas and New York, they're all over 8 or 9 million. So I've got 3 of my total states that are over 9 million. Okay. Well, I only want to do a break based on those large ones. All the other ones, I just want them contiguous. One set of years after another without breaking on each individual one. Well, this is a relatively new feature that was introduced. What I can do is I can go into manage breaks. Okay. And we'll do a value-based break for state and select the values. This is a carryover from the old desktop product and say, I want to do it for California. And I want to do it for New York. And I only want to do it for, oh, Massachusetts is a no. Got the wrong one. We want New York in there. And I want Texas in there. Got all 3 in there. So now the break is going to be based strictly on those. Makes it real nice for us. So for California, then I see Colorado followed by all the other states. Then I see New York broken out by itself and Texas broken out by itself as well, all the way down the line. That's pretty cool. All right, so I can control at what level do I want individual breaks, or do I want to do it just on certain ones, as you saw with that one as well. So it really lends itself very nicely for that type of thing. So again, everything being managed right off of here, off using the manage break functionality that's there as well. All right. All right, now let's do the following. I'm going to go back out to a document that I've already got out there in my documents folder that I built for the sake of these shorter meetings so that I can pop up an example of a more advanced feature. And this is the one I wanted to get up with. Yep.
We have 2 questions coming about breaks. Do you know what version the value-based break is in? They don't seem to have it.
I believe it was 5 or 6, but I'd have to look up my little master list on that one. But it was an add-in feature. Probably 5, probably 6, but it's an easy enough thing I can look up later if they want, right?
All right, and then is there a way to set the break by the amount?
By the amount. So based on, let's say, what sales revenue is, No, because the value-based break does it based on a value. I'd have to, that's an interesting one. Let me get a follow-up from on that one, and let's see what I can come up with for that one. I've done that before, the one ranking based on subtotals. We're going to show you that one in a minute. That came about from a question in one of these webinars. So that's a good one. Let me check it out, because it's value, based on a value. It's assuming a dimension. So I don't know how we could do it with a measure, but something I could, let me explore that and just see what we could do for that one. So good question, something for me to be able to show you. Let me open this one up. And again, I pre-built this one to save time, because we're going to be running out of time shortly anyways. So let me go back to design for it. And this is the maxed out one example. Rank and max. Nope, not the one I wanted. I wanted the other one. So let me do the other document that I had out here. I built a rank and max. Break tricks. Here we go. This one's got it in it. And I'll send you, I've got this built into a nice little handout for this one as well. Ranking based on subtotals. Okay, I had a base report, multiple breaks, and so on. I built this into a nice little handout for these type of user group meetings for that one as well. Okay, so the problem I have is, let me go back up here, show my available objects. Let me get full edit. Part of the problem, since I didn't open it up full edit. My guys, give me my full capability. And let's go back to available objects. So what the question that came up in one of the sessions was, what if I want to rank the years based on the subtotal value, not the individual, because ranking is going to work within that. In fact, by default, breaks your number one function. All the other operators or functions work within it. So if you did a rank by itself, it's overall. You do a rank within a break, it's going to do it within the break group by default. But I didn't want it based on the values here within that group. I wanted it based on the subtotal to be able to do it, all right? So I needed a way to capture this. So what we did is we created a variable for that, very simple. It requires the use of context operators. And I said, what I want to do is I want to sum up the sales revenue for all states, all right? For all states, all right? So that single value now contains value for all states. And what I did was I displayed it in the column next door. So now that I've got that, what I can do is, I could do it here and hide it as well if I wanted to. I could apply the ranking, and it really didn't matter because of the variable. What I could do is, we'll leave it over here, but let's go up, and we want to rank based on the subtotal value. So let's look at what we did here. So if I click on my states column, let's go up here to Analysis Toolbar. And if you click the ranking button for states, and let's edit it, not remove it, it brings it up. I picked my top 3, so I did 3 out of 4 years just to have something in there. And I said I want to use based on ranking. Now you're saying, well, wait a minute, okay? Ranking is a local variable. So what? One of the nice features that I've covered in the formulas, variables, and functions section is that local variables are extensions of your universe, and they can be used very nicely. I want to do it for year, rank by the year, because I'm aggregating ranking up at the year level for each one. And what happens in that case is it ranks them on there, but it required one other setting that we had to do for ranking. We had to also go in for the break. Go to Manage Breaks. And we had to uncheck Apply Sort. If I don't uncheck the Apply Sort on the Manage Break window, the ranking by default has an implied sort that it always does, and it doesn't do it correctly. All right? So that's the little trick. I created a local variable using a context operator for all, to get all of them for all the states. I mean, for all states. So I captured the subtotal value that you see. Okay. Once I had that, and I displayed the column, but I didn't have to have that in there. It wasn't required for that one, but just to show you, and I could hide that column and be done with it as well, that particular way. So a very nice way. There's an example also of doing a max, if you wanted to get the maximum value within a group and so on, but another way could be done as well. Okay. All right, that was pretty cool. Let's do one last thing. Let's add another tab out here, add a new report tab. And we're going to do this real quick. Year, state, sales revenue, and quantity sold. Bring all those in. Okay. Whenever you get into the world of creating breaks, you need to put your thinking cap on, your creativity hat, and say, wait a minute. If I'm going to do a break on year for each of my states, okay, all right. If I do that, Okay, they're all within the same report block, one after another, which I could page break and whatever. But this becomes an interesting candidate to become a master detail report. Let me turn it off. Anytime I get into one or more breaks, typically a couple, I start thinking about that and saying, if I make it a master detail report, it provides more flexibility. So I could take the year, pull it out, make it a master cell, being careful where I put them because it's always very finicky about moving them. So now what I've done is I've broken the report out into two blocks, a master section, a detail section. It's called sectioning. And I did it for each of my 4 years. So now it becomes a header record, which gives me some expanded capability. What I could do is, let's do this. Let's bring in totals. So we're using the concept of a break, but we're using it in a different context. We're doing it with a master detail report instead, because it gives me additional functionality. Okay, so it's like a break, but you're pulling it out. Okay, and let's just get it lined up real quick here. And we'll put the quantity sold next to that. As you know, these are section totals automatically generated. And there's a format section that allows you to line them up and whatever. But now I have a master detail. And if I wanted to, I could hide this block inside. It opens up a whole new world for us. I can go into format table for that block. And I could say, I want to hide when the following is true. And I can pick something like from the formula bar. I could say where the sales revenue value is greater than, let's do a greater than up here. It's greater than, let's say 9 million. So we're combining another concept, an alternative pseudo break, by making it a master detail instead. And it lends itself extremely well. So what happens is 16, 17, 18, and 19. The 19 was over 9 million, so it doesn't show the detail. 18 and 17 were under 9 million, so it showed those. All right. So now I have that expanded capability. And one other nice thing that comes with master detail that you don't get with a formal break is the infamous map tab on the left. I select the map tab on the left. I get an automatic navigation map here that is so cool. It allows me to browse through my report using the master cells, the actual dimension value from the master cell. And imagine if this was based on state with 50 states in there instead of 4 years. When I go through this map and find the state I want, I've got a potentially 50-page master detail report on the right that it takes me right to the value that I want. So when you start getting into more advanced breaks, start your brain thinking about doing it another way, looking at it saying, hey, wait a minute. If I make one of them or two of them a master cell example, make them master cells with the detail, I can hide down here. I can do conditional formatting up here. Some of that you're going to see in my later presentation today as well. But you're trying to take more advantage of it. I can go into here and I can conditionally hide that block. Many have seen me put a chart to the right side of it as well. There's so much more you can do. So it's kind of like an implied break. And if you're using any of the typical functions like running sum, running average, running min, running max, they have an option, a parameter called reset dimension. So that if you hit a break, you want it to reset. This is an implied break. So the functions will still work, but now you do it based on the master section value here, the year, as opposed to doing it on the break within the report itself. So this is like an extended, more advanced use of thinking outside of just a break. In this block here, I might have multiple dimensions and I could still have breaks, okay? But I used a different approach to open up Pandora's box to give me more possibilities for that one as well that you see there. One of my favorite things to do is a copy and paste here. Just for example's sake, we'll throw it out there. And we'll do a quick turn into. Where's my turn into? Right here. We'll turn it into a pie chart. We'll go with the default. I don't like to do that with the default, but I will. Oh, I think my one of my subsurfaces went down. Oops. Well, should expect a chart. See if I can bring it back in. Should populate with a pie chart. Just didn't bring it up in that case. But hopefully later on when I do another example, we'll have something we can show you for that. But it would have had the pie chart showing next to it with the values. So think about master detail reports whenever you're building a report with breaks. Will a break give me more options, more functionality? You just never know, but you can see what you can do with it here. So, all right, I have a real nice handout that I can make available to you on this, with some of the features that I showed you that highlight some of the things that you see here as well. Wish I could give you the Webby document, but I could do it through an LCM beer file, but I don't think you want to deal with that. So, do you have any questions out there, Anna Laura?
Let me take a look here, Michael. It looks like no questions so far.
I think there was one in the chat session, Anna Laura.
Maybe I missed it.
From Astrid.
Oh, we went over that one already.
Okay.
We took care of it.
Um,
Okay. Good.
And someone's asking about the handout. Will it be emailed to them? I don't know if you want to go ahead and pull up your contact details there, Michael. so
Yeah,
that they
as
can
long as they
get a
send me,
shipment.
if they send me an email, there's a couple related to breaks that I can send out to you that I broke it out, just so that's easier for you to kind of divide it into pieces, but I'd be happy with the break section, be happy to share that with you.